Hey everybody, welcome to I Know a Guy. Today we're talking with Rudy. I've known him for a while. He's with WFG. He's been doing it for about 2.5 years. So Rudy, good talking to you again.
Hey man, great to talk to you again too.
Yeah, how's your week going?
It's going good. It's going good. Keeping
Awesome, awesome.
busy, making
Yeah,
some impact, meeting some great people. The
that's
usual.
that's great. That's great. So where are you located?
Tiny little town called Florence, Oregon, right on the coast. It's nice and quiet. This is what I like, and I'm not much of a big city person. So yeah, surround me in nature. And the resident bear has tried to get into my trash last night, and didn't happen. So I got my wildlife keeping me company out here too.
Yeah, there you go. Are you originally from Oregon or are you new to the area?
No, I'm from the Bay Area in California. I was down there for a little bit. My parents wanted to raise me away from the big city, so they dragged me up here, and I love it. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Been here pretty much ever since.
All right. So when you're not fighting bears over the trash, what do you do for fun up in Oregon?
Right. Off-roading, photography, going on drives, and I'm a bit of a foodie. So if there's a new restaurant or something that looks different, yeah, I'm gonna go get that too. So I'm
Okay.
currently
Awesome.
loving smash burgers at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, I'm making some of those tonight on the Blackstone, so I'll have to ship a couple your way.
Nice. There you go.
So, what can you tell us about what you do? What sets you apart from everybody else? Where's your niche?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, my quick little spiel is, hey, I teach people about money. It's the things that we all should learn in school. We unfortunately were not taught in school, myself included, although I did learn how to write a check. So I shouldn't necessarily say I didn't get a financial education, but I've done that 8 times in the past 20 years. So, eh. So my big thing is I want people to know the basics of financial literacy. I tell people, don't worry, don't freak out. I'm not going to teach you Wall Street. It's okay. I'm going to teach the basics. Three of my favorite principles that I like to talk about: the rule of 72, how compound interest works, and of course, the time value of money. Just to give you guys a rough idea of some of the things I teach. Very simple, very easy and gentle. The company I'm with gives beautiful tools, resources, presentations. We have a wonderful ebook called Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life. I actually have a bit of a campaign. I want to give away 500 of those this month. It's free. I will definitely get that over to you guys. Really, really solid. And it's awareness. It's awareness, education, and empowerment. That's a big part of what I do. I love helping business owners as well because the way I see it is if I can help a business owner, that means I can help their employees as well, which means I can have a greater community impact faster. So that's really near and dear to my heart. I'm really big into that. At the end of the day, people, we don't know what we don't know. And I tell
Right.
people, hey, it's okay. No judgment. Now you will know. I mean, I didn't learn a lot of what I learned until I was 35. So it's all good, everybody. Don't worry. It's
Do
never
you
too late to learn. It's never too late to change.
do you do it regionally, nationally?
All across 50 United States. So I got people in my sphere in many different states and reached out to many different genres of business owners. Although I will say I really like to work with community-centric business owners because if they're really well nestled in their communities and they're, potentially even employing a lot of their communities, it's like, hey, let's give back. I have some ideas for us. Let's do a couple of things. Really big into that. I love, as far as industries, I don't really have an industry specific niche, but I do like to help the smaller businesses, maybe 10 to 200 employees or so. Mostly because it's nice because, the little guy needs the most help, but they're also the most underserved. So it's like, hey guys, I'm here for you, here for your employees. Let's take care of you and really create an impact that way.
Okay. So how'd you get started with this? Because you said like, we never been taught this before. What kind of bridged that for you?
Funny story. I had my dream job pre-pandemic. I'm a very avid car enthusiast. Big surprise by my background, right? One of my photos I took. Shameless plug for my photography. It's a hobby. But I lost my dream job because my tiny little tourist town. We pretty much became a ghost town, and nobody was buying cars during a global recession anyway, so they had to let me go. And I really needed something to do. I was rather bored, and I always liked helping people. And I said, I want to do something that affects people generationally rather than transactionally. So I said, okay, what's out there? And of course, everybody's in health and wellness. Big surprise. I love the industry, but as alluded earlier, I do love burgers too. And I was not about to be that hypocritical guy that says, hey, eat the healthy food, eat the granola, chug the yogurt, take them supplements, and I'm going to have a burger the size of my head. Although I do love the industry. I hear my friend Don, I see my friend Don shaking his head when I mentioned burgers and fried things. Um, Good friend of mine. That's a long story. But, I love the industry, but I wanted to do something that was really, really aligned with the impact level I wanted to have. And what ended up happening about 3 years ago is I met a woman and she said, "Hey, I teach people how money works." And I'm like, "Really? That's different than everything else I've heard. Let's talk." And I was really intrigued by the idea. On a side note, my grandmother worked for Morgan Stanley Dean Witter for 23 years. So I was always kind of fascinated in that world, but I didn't really want to become a stockbroker because, I didn't want to lose my hair at 45 and be stressed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Um, but I kind of liked the financial industry because it was always interesting to me. So what ended up happening, and I'll never forget this, I got an education I didn't think I needed. I thought I knew enough. I was comfortable. I was more or less debt free. Had money at the end of every month. I was good, I think, maybe. I learned a lot about not just about my money, which was interesting, but I learned about myself. I learned about what my relationship to money was. And guys, let me tell you a secret. It's not necessarily how much money you have. I know it sounds kind of weird, but if you think about it, what is your relationship to money? And tell you what, guys, ask yourselves that question when we're done here today. Are you a saver? Are you a spender? Maybe somewhere in between? Ask yourself that. I'd be curious to know what your answers are. It's kind of an interesting idea when you think about it, because it's really a lot of it's psychological. How do we treat our money? How do we take care of our money? How do we keep our money? How do we grow it? It's not necessarily how much you have, it's how much you keep. What does your financial future actually look like? What do you want it to be? It's so much more than dollars and cents. That's a small piece of it. The rest of it, well, a lot of it's the 6 inches between your ears. So I speak a lot about that too. And in my own revelation, I realized I was a spender way back when, but now I've become a total saver and I love it. I feel so empowered. And it also made me kind of mad because I was like, well, why didn't I learn this in school? I thought they would have taught you this stuff. Oh no, I learned ancient Greek history. I learned algebra, learned long division. I haven't used any of those. I know them, but I really wish I would have learned the rule of 72. I really wish I would have learned compound interest. Or, oh, a great one, the time value of money. Because guess what, you guys, money can work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can't. Well, not for more than about 3 days and you'll keel over. But that's the messaging I want to really give is like, hey, there's more to it than just what you might know.
Hmm.
There's a lot more. And I wish I knew 20 years ago what I know now, but you know what? I'm grateful for the experiences I had because I can speak to that. Say, hey, been there, done that. I spent $210 a month on coffee at one point in time in my life. I bet a lot of you can relate to that because it's kind of hard not to when you get those really nice coffees for $7 a piece, but you might not notice. But it's okay. Again, no judgment. It's all good. We've been there. We've been there. So now we can move forward. We can move forward from a place of empowerment, understanding, clarity, and hey, maybe even a little hope. And I want to be that catalyst for people's financial futures, personal and business.
That's awesome. What would you say your favorite thing is about doing that for folks? What's your favorite thing about what you're doing now?
You got to ask the hard questions, don't you?
Yeah, that's what it's about, right?
I love it. Honestly, my favorite thing about what I do is knowing what I do will outlast me. That to me is the most beautiful thing because the way I figured, if I help somebody's grandfather or grandmother, get them taken care of, make sure they can have the retirement life they want, they're going to pass that on to their kids. But the better thing, they're going to pass on the education. Their kids will be able to implement the same things. The relationships to money they will have will be better. They'll be able to do the things I wish I did when I was really, really tiny. And then that perpetuates itself. They're going to create their own generational wealth from what they got from their parents. And then they're going to teach their kids to do the same thing. They're going to set them up for college funds when they're 6 months old and put, a few $100 away every month. And if they don't go to college, that's okay. They can have a down payment on a house, maybe, or maybe buy their first car. I would recommend used because I am frugal, but make sure you get a pre-purchase inspection before you buy a car, or at the very least, make sure you get a good service history. That's a totally another discussion. But the point is they'll have choices wherever they want to go in life. They'll understand what it takes to actually get there. And they'll have the wherewithal and the understanding to do it, but they'll also have the mindset to do it too. And of
Okay.
course, a little bit extra money when they have an inheritance, that helps. But they'll know how to take care of it. And then they're going to perpetuate its cycle because I really feel that generational wealth is possible for everybody. But we're not taught how to do that, both in vehicles and financial tools, but also in mindset, because a lot of it's mindset.
Mhm.
So I aim to tackle both. As a hey, start early, save often, be patient. Keyword for me, being premature. I was not patient from day zero, but
Yeah.
that's a lot of what I want to focus on. And it's such a good feeling knowing what I do. It could last the next 200 years. I'll be long gone, but my impact will still be resonating through the lineages of the people I helped. And that to me is the best part.
Okay. So you got started 2.5 years ago. You got introduced to it three. What are some things that you were doing in the beginning that you would do different now, kind of from where you started to where you are now?
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot lately, actually. Um, have more faith in myself, honestly, because it was a very big shift going from car sales to entrepreneurship. It was a big shift. Big shift for me. I struggled with self confidence a lot when I was younger. I'm actually neurodivergent, blessed with that. ADHD and autism diagnosed when I was 7. So I had a lot of struggle with self confidence. But the beautiful thing is, I had a really, really good mentor, and she was very patient with me. Thank you. She's probably watching. Um, but having that, taking more concrete action, believing in myself more, I think would have really skyrocketed things further. Because I think that to me, it's hard to believe in ourselves sometimes, especially if we've had fairly rough past experiences. It's really difficult for us to kind of kick it into gear. But then when
Mhm.
we do, we're like, oh wow, why did I wait that long?
Okay.
And you got to trust yourself. You got to have faith in yourself. And the old saying goes like, trust me now, believe me later. You got to
Okay.
trust yourself now, believe yourself later. I'm a big
Right.
believer in that.
So for those that, like what you're saying, kind of like everything about it, how would you recommend somebody like that get started? That's, maybe new to the industry, never thought about before, would like to give it a shot.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing is, I mean, like I said, you got to believe in yourself first. That's the first thing. But make sure your heart is aligned with what you're doing. It's so important. You got to have an aligned heart. You got to have an aligned vision for what you want to accomplish in life, especially with this industry, because this industry can change people's lives generationally. You got to find your why, and you got to write down your why. And there's a saying: if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. I believe that. One of my whys is taking care of my mom, giving back to her at a level that I've never been able to before. Couldn't really do that during a 9 to 5 out here in my little town. That's one of my major whys. Helping animal rescues, helping veterans, being an advocate for the neurodivergent community. Those are some of my very, very big whys. And being able to align those with what I'm doing has been very, very powerful.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, no, having a strong why is one of the more important things that you can do because
It'll get
otherwise
you through
it's
the rough times.
yeah, otherwise it's just another thing that you're doing. It's not what you're going to be doing forever.
Yeah.
Okay, great. How about you know, what are some things that I might be able to help you with, or others listening might be able to help you with that, maybe some pain points or some partnerships or some directions that you're going. What are some areas that folks might be able to help with?
Definitely. My big thing is, helping the little guy, helping the small business owner. The way I see it is I can help a business owner. That's totally grand. Love doing it, done it before. What I really want to do is create bigger impact. Say, hey, help a business owner, but I want to help their employees too. I want to say, hey, we set you up, Mr. Business Owner. Let's take care of your employees. Let's do the same for them. Let's give them a financial literacy master class, courtesy of you, the boss, for free. What do you think they're going to think about that? Because you, the boss, you're not just going to give them a check. You're going to show them how to take care of it. What is that going to do for your, employer-employee relationships? What's that going to do for your workplace culture? What's that going to do for your company image? Let's talk about that. What's that going to do for your community you're a part of? That's the bigger vision I'm wanting to impress upon business owners is saying, let's do this. I can't think of anybody else who's doing it like that.
Mhm.
So let's create that level of impact, not just in your business, but in your community too. And I can assist with that through, the tools and resources I have.
Okay. I got you. How about some power partners? What are some people that you tend to
Yeah.
synergize well with, or you like to network with, or you find value back and forth with?
Business consultants all day. That's a big one because if they're helping a business owner with what they're doing, I could be a really good resource for them, helping them in elements that they might not necessarily want to deal with. That's really big for me. Business consultants, business coaches, those are great. People in the bookkeeping and accounting spaces are also nice. In the HR space as well, those are great because if they're working with people or if they're working with business finance, I'm another resource for them. I wear my hat, they wear their hats. We synergize really well. And we go, hey, let's help your clients together. We can do that.
Okay. Anything that I missed that you'd want to add as far as, just a little bit about you or a little bit about what you're doing?
Well, I'm a cat out of four.
There you go.
Surprisingly, they're not jumping across my desk. That's a new one because I was like, oh, look, Rudy's on a Zoom. We're going to jump on his desk and be silly.
I can't confirm they do that.
Right, right. But no, guys, at the end of the day, I really want to be able to get the information out there because people need it and they might not necessarily realize they need it. That was me. So yes, I'll give Anthony a link to my website with that wonderful ebook. It's called Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life. It is wonderful. It is. Don't worry, I promise it's an easy read.
Mm-hmm.
I promise. There's even 3 different versions. There's a 30-minute read, an 8-minute read, and a 2-minute TLDR version. So it's all good. My campaign is to get 500 of those out this month. I want to create the impact. I want people to know what's available to them. I want people to feel empowered by money, not afraid of it. Because last time I checked, and I have this sitting on my desk for this exact reason, this cannot hurt you. This is $1. This cannot hurt you. With the caveat is if you throw this at somebody's head, it will hurt them. Do not do that. But money is energy. I want to leave you guys with this. Money is energy, and finance is not an F word.
I like it. What's the best way that people get in touch with you that want to,
Yes,
partner with you, network with you?
100%. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Those are my 2 main platforms I'm on. I'm also on Alignable. Great platform if you're looking for networking events, by the way. That's one of my personal favorites. That is where I can be reached. And yeah, that is me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Sounds good. I'll make sure to get those links from me and I'll share it everywhere and, do the same because, feel free to share all this with all your folks as well. If anybody out there wants to get in touch with Rudy, feel free to reach out to me. If you're a little bit shy and don't want to reach out to him directly, I'd be more than happy to make that introduction. I promise you, he doesn't bite. He is just as nice in person as he is, through an interview. More cats though, I will say they do make a frequent appearance, but, if somebody else would like to get interviewed, feel free to reach out to me on X at I know a guy _ But thanks for your time, Rudy. It was really awesome getting to know you a little bit better. Again, anybody wants to reach out to you, just feel free, drop me a line. I'll be happy to make that introduction. So, all right, guys, go out and meet some people.
Take care, guys.